So I start with that video for one, out of respect to the greatest human on this planet that this vessel ever met. And this vessel can say that because this vessel has traveled around the planet as a background dancer, choreographer, teacher, soloist, judge. Very few people can say that. And done it consistently over 30 years in different dance styles. Not talking about different dance styles, but in different dance styles and worked in them. Many people talk about different dance styles, but he didn't work in them. With that being said, the greatest human on the planet, which would also be called systematically Mom, she was bigger than that woman, and still to this day is probably one of the best dances I've ever seen. And it's not because I'm her child and there's that affinity. No, literally. It's just one of the best dances I've ever seen. A lot of y'all won't comprehend that, but remember, there's going to be a YouTube channel that I'm going to make where I'm going to critique dancing on a true level, which is mental, physical, spiritual, financial, verbally, yes, and medicinally. This vessel can say that publicly, and most people wouldn't even know how to go about it. Of course, the system can lie about it, but y'all who love liars, go with liars. These videos that are made on this timeline and other timelines are to say people who are gifted, come this way. Let's start doing something different. It doesn't matter who's lying, because they're always lying. This is the last video this vessel is going to make attacking liars. Because this video is in dedication of people like Keith Williams, Boogie Williams, rest in peace, Michael K. Williams, rest in peace. I knew these people before y'all knew them as quote unquote professionals. Michael Williams, who was a dance partner of this vessel. Michael K. Williams, yes, the actor. Before this person became an actor, this vessel told the person to act because the dancing wasn't as strong. We were very close, and so this video, this video is going to be very strong. It's a warning. This is a very strong video because it's about people that need to come out. This vessel is not very entertained or happy about people that this vessel knows, and some of y'all out there know it, but y'all not saying it. You can press like, but that's fine, because a lot of y'all are afraid about losing businesses and all that. I know a lot of y'all not really happy about the thugs that used to bother people on the DL, but then on the DL doing the same thing. Not really happy about the women that bother men who might be gay or bisexual, but then y'all doing the same thing, doing polygamy in the straight sense. Now, spiritually, none of that's right because y'all supposed to be focused on taking care of the children. Not really happy about people who claim to be so-called spiritual and never have done those things, but do those things, or have something against those things. But this is where this video is going. And I do this video for the gifted children that are coming up, because gifted children, rest assured, in this one world system where everyone is directed away from the gift, those children who realize the gift they were given and focus on it young, y'all gonna have some serious setbacks. People say, be careful what you say because it'll happen. Don't have to worry about that. Even if this vessel doesn't say it, many people will. Different between this vessel and many other people's, this vessel gives proven facts and remedy. So let's look at history of majority of very gifted people. Most of them are raped, molested, and all that other stuff, right? But yet, the system has them blaming themselves, which is ultimately ridiculous. It doesn't even make sense. Because if we're supposed to point to the sources of problems, we point to the system that created it. The maker of things, the makers of things, should be in prison more so than those who sell or use it. Because without the maker, we don't have a product. Remember that. Without a maker, you don't have a product. So a maker should be in jail more than a seller or user. This is the problem. A lot of people are paying into the makers of things and then blaming people who sell or use things. This is a big issue, and that's called being too scared to point to the source. So if y'all too scared to point to the sources, y'all will always be your own problem while the sources laugh. Even this vessel, when this vessel was young, was constant, not even young, all the way up until 20s, this vessel was constantly questioned by people. Oh, what's your sexual preference? What are you into? But anybody ever heard from 7 years young to like 14 years young that this vessel was a dancer that did ballet and all that other stuff? Forget the street dance stuff. All of a sudden, it will always be these masculine men. The genitals will pop out. And at 7 years young, no one's thinking about sex at all. The vessel would look at them and go, "Oh, what does ballet and jazz have to do with that genital?" And then the vessel realized, "Oh, this is a systematic teaching. There's something wrong here." A lot of y'all got into this dance world because you were on your back, or at one point y'all took one for the team, wherever y'all took one, and y'all got jobs. And this goes to hip hop culture, this goes to house culture, this goes to ballet, tap, jazz, African. It doesn't matter. Y'all need to stop because this vessel saw people like Willie Ninja die. People like Keith Williams died, and people made a mockery of them. There's some people now that support voguing in the hip hop culture in different contests, and whether they can say they finally opened their heart up or whatever. A lot of y'all have to know they did a lot of vicious things in order to get to this point. And it works vice versa too. In the voguing and the white community, they did a lot of vicious things in the 80s to end to this point where it seems like everyone's together, but it really still not. It's still not. What they're together on is the agenda of messing up children's lives. What they're together on is the agenda of messing up children's lives. What they're together on is the agenda of messing up children's lives and trying to hit off children on the DL under ages. Now, a lot of y'all, this vessel knows this because this vessel is always into the older. We're going to get into that in this video. Now, of course, comprehend how the media works. It's easy to say someone's a pedophile and someone's not a pedophile, and the media can do what they want. But what this vessel is going to show is fact that's not debatable. Because like I said, this video is about come out, y'all. Come out. What does it mean, come out? Okay, for the children and the parents' sake that don't know how to break it down to children, here's the easiest way to break down, quote unquote, what the system created called sexualities. This is system created. So what that means is that after a man or woman do an action and we come from a woman, we don't have a sexuality. Sexuality is pushed by pedophilia. Reason why do we say pedophilia? Because the system makes laws that are always changing, consent laws. Where people are not supposed to know anything about sex, but then cartoons to X movies that are legalized show sexual activity. That's visual pedophilia. When someone, a system, creates laws where people can make cartoons that show the same sexual acts that adults do in a cartoon, and it's in prime time where children can see it, that's visual pedophilia. So these are the people y'all vote for. A lot of y'all who don't know how the system works, they have to write a script. That script has to be seen. It has to be legalized, and then it's put out to the public. So all those people are pedophiles, just so y'all comprehend how this works. Then we go further. Once the child sees visual pedophilia, they eventually will copy. We'll start with so-called straight people. There's too many straight people that look at women and the assets, right? Whether front or back. Y'all are so crazy because it's supposed to be attracted to the heart. There isn't a child on this earth before they see that visual pedophilia that is looking in these places. Children, when they meet in the sandbox and all that, are looking at each other's energy, intention, heart. Period. That's all they look for. So you have straight people who say they're straight, but they grow up chasing assets of women, and vice versa. Women chasing assets of men. So with that being said, that's still a sexual perversion because that's been perverted by visual pedophilia. Or some people who are adult talking to children about sex in graphic ways, that's verbal pedophilia. And that's also legalized by the system because Cartoon the X and in certain speeches that politicians do where they so-called slip up saying foul words that children aren't supposed to say, they slip up. How do you slip up on TV? This is all scripted. It's already planned. It's no different from award shows where you see them looking in the back there. They're reading a prompter, but there's something that shows them what to say. These are all scripted stuff. So they're all pedophiles. Catch it. Moving on. Then there are these children that are actually touched, raped, and molested by adults. The body ends up wanting to have a lot of sexual encounters because it's violated. This is where we don't use the word I. When a body is violated, the body now doesn't know what it's supposed to do because the act was repeated so much, the body just goes with it. It's not any different from being fed hamburgers and all of a sudden want to become vegetarian. You, the mind, wants to become vegetarian, but the body's not ready and it keeps making you chase. Some people go, the body can't make me do that. If the body can make you blink when y'all don't want to, it can make it go to the bathroom when y'all don't want to. It can feel pain when y'all don't want to. Y'all are chasing the body. The body controls y'all. It's very, very, very difficult to get in contact with the body and control it. Normally, when it's violated, forget it. So there's a lot of people out here think it's straight and it's okay spiritually to, go forward, be fruitful, and multiply. That's a lie. In the Bible, if you do that, you're supposed to handle the family. In the Quran, you're supposed to handle the family. You're supposed to handle the women and children. In Buddhism, originally, you shouldn't even really be doing that. Dogma wasn't about that. And if you are, you're supposed to handle the family as well. Any spirituality that promotes full power, love, productivity, and faith, you're supposed to be handling the family. See, children, these are all what they call the devil's people that's lying in all these spiritualities. It is natural, man, woman, but it's not natural to just keep procreating or just wasting the seed or just having sex just to have sex. Those are perversions. Now, if depending on how the child is violated, there's a lot of children unfortunately are violated. Even this vessel was violated as a child, where money was used. This vessel also was brought to places as underage where people did that. So that leads the body into doing things for money, which now we lead into prostitution and hustling. See how crazy this is? Now there's some people who will do it, and this is a popular story called spiritual pedophilia, where they do it and mention God or a higher power in it, like God said this is right and y'all should do it. Yes, this happens a lot, unfortunately. Now we can easily go over to the other sexualities, quote unquote, the systematic created sexualities. People call themselves gay, bisexual, transgender, drag queen. They've all been through this similar story. And yes, look at this screen very well. This vessel knows very well. See, unlike most people, this vessel doesn't know the gay, bisexual, transgender, drag queen scene like this. Let's look at this video real quick. Though love the dancing, look at the video.
Give it to Jack, please. Thank you. Play your gold fan. Is that for you? Miss Sandy, you need to go over there. Get from over here. Over there. Get over there, Miss Sandy. Thank you. Over there. All right. Pump that beat. Today stop to time, believe. You know what we want to see? What? We keep moving. You know what we want. Take your time and perform for the bitch for the $500 bitch. Give it to me, give it to me, bitch like it. Man, I keep me lit like this. Bring it down. Bitch, me, I keep to this. 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 Let's put on a show. Now let's go. Now, jump on the bus. Take it about. Now I'm the bitch that can't be stopped. Now I'm the one that you listen to me. And the money drink. Oh, my God. Now get the deal. Get the deal. For me. Serve that bitch. Bitch, serve that for like this. This bitch. Bam. Put it to the floor. Score. Dance to the sky.
Okay, amazing dancing. Amazing. This vessel was always attracted to dance, not to people. Amazing dancing. But this vessel does not know gay, bisexual like that. This vessel knows gay, bisexual like this. see that? There's not even a rainbow there. It's a flag with a bare paw, right? That's how this vessel was introduced into that systematic category, underage. Underage when brought to this. So imagine now, reason why this video is being made is because this vessel grew up in the bear scene, underage to eight to quote unquote adult age. So y'all don't see anybody feminine in those pictures, and you see how big they are. The bear community. Let's get something straight right here. The bear community was mostly white men, mostly white men. Even growing up in elementary school, was running into that type on bus stops, and they would show the genitalia for some reason, and blah blah blah. Because this vessel's from what y'all call a white area, a rich white area, and went to school out in Long Island in New York, where there's a couple islands out there that they have these activities, straight gay or bisexual. So this vessel was underage. This vessel was still in junior high school when was brought to these islands. And so as this vessel was watching, oh, that one's married. Oh, that's his wife. Oh, I didn't know he does that. Oh, what? And she's watching. Oh, so this vessel, instead of being stupid, because some of them were law enforcement, detectives, sheriffs. Here's a message to say about, those in jail. I've seen them. Those are the CEOs that dig y'all out in jail. See how real that just got? And unfortunately, let's give y'all a little history. A lot of y'all who got dug out in jail, the body got turned out. And then y'all ended up becoming homo thugs somewhere around the late 80s. With that being said, public servant, go look it up. Because there's so many people who choose to be public servants, and they put more scare and fear in the citizens when they're supposed to be serving, not abusing, serving. You should not, no one should feel like this when we see public servants. We should feel like, please go do the job you're supposed to do. Leave us alone. Thank you very much for the service. This vessel is from originally the colonized land label New York. New York people are originally from the South. So the corruption that this vessel seen growing up is just starting here. A lot of y'all that are trapped in the racism thing, and it's a whole bunch of quote unquote black men with these slutty little white women. This vessel went through that in junior high school. A comment to those who believe in race and racism is to women, white women. White women that think they can trap a black man that's already grew up in a white neighborhood, y'all look horrible. y'all look y'all look sluttier than an adult movie. Just I'm putting that out there to y'all because a lot now that this vessel's in Houston, Texas, this is just something to say to y'all. Yes, it's known that y'all are a heavy prostitution state. This has been known since the 80s and before. Yes, there are people in the street dance community that would still go with y'all, but this vessel particularly is not from the projects like most street dancers. This vessel is from quote unquote those who believe in race and racism or white area. So white women look very disgusting to me when they parade around a black man who's that stupid because they come from a poor neighborhood. And also the same thing goes for white looking or even tattooed up, trying to be ghetto Latin women. Black women, this vessel has nothing to say about y'all because black women, this vessel expects nonsense because y'all have no voice at all. Y'all yell a lot and y'all act like y'all have a voice, but y'all have no voice at all. The most deadliest person in that whole scheme is the white women. Just being straight for those who believe in race and racism. So please don't come to this vessel. This vessel has had so many sexual offers dancing for celebrities. Is it because this vessel is good looking or not? This vessel doesn't care. Sex became boring somewhere around what the system calls late 20s. This vessel now is what the system counts as 52. Y'all, especially y'all who go to clubs trying to look like celebrity artists, would do nothing for this vessel. That's why it's better y'all try to stop, especially out here in Houston, Texas. Please stop. Please stop. This vessel will never hit anybody, but please stop. This vessel has a mouth that can seriously come out with words that will you'll feel like y'all get hit. But either y'all coming around this vessel to dance and praise the Lord and try to do good things, or please move on. This is the last ever post I'll do on the illusion of race and racism. Um, because coming from upper middle class, colonized, created area, it's just stupid. At one point, this vessel, if race was believed, would have believed, yeah, it's white people the devil, because the history is pushed in this one world system like that. Remember this video?
What color were they? Huh? They were niggas. I know it.
So this vessel, growing up in a colonized, created, richer area with more people that y'all taught to call white, it was obvious they were a different color. It was obvious they were a different species of human. So this, or maybe not even human. This vessel never thought of quote unquote white people as being human. Definitely as a being. 99% of this vessel we met act unnatural. And they can't match with nature.
You're cool with me, nigga. I like you. I like you a lot.
Really, y'all, look at if there was such a thing called white. Look how white people would look at y'all. Here is the last stamp I'm going to put on the racism and racist thing. Those who believe in that illusion, when y'all see people this skin color who come from a colonized, created, the reason why we repeat colonized, created is because y'all are put in these areas made by colonizers and their descendants. It is not an actual area. So, for example, when people hear the word poor, you shouldn't get like, oh, they looking down on me. Somebody's looking. No, y'all only poor because somebody who colonized and created those areas are not giving y'all money. That's all. Money is made by a factory. Now it's digital. It's on the computer. It's not that big deal to get up money. You can get up money digitally and they can block it. Y'all can go to their courts all you want. I'm gonna say this again. Their courts made by colonization all y'all want, and they still won't get anywhere. Y'all be in courts for years, losing a whole bunch of money with their lawyers, and then finally, when y'all think y'all got the money back, if you add it up, you lost all your money. Because the reason why y'all were in the court, that purpose is finished now. So let me give y'all an example. Y'all could be trying to fight for street dance rights. Go to court for 10 years. They've already took over street dance, but you finally got $5 million 10 years later. But they already control street dance, which is $1 billion business. See that? So this is what this vessel is saying. Coming from a colonized, created, rich area or upper middle class area, this is how racism looked. And then going to church in a poor, colonized, created, poor area, it looked like this. Y'all have all these gifts, but don't know how to use them. If y'all do use them, they're using the way they say. and y'all don't do anything for each other really. And if y'all do anything for each other, it's the way they want y'all to do it. So that only sounds like slavery. So going to the colonized poor areas, this vessel would hear a lot of the people on the street, what they call street prophets, and going to a rich Christian private school that colonizers created, not this person, colonized created. It was like, oh, okay, oh, nice big words, but that wasn't used correctly in a sentence, and that doesn't make sense in that sentence. That's how it was. It was just like, okay, and then of course it was like these people don't really know what this person is talking about because that person didn't know what they're talking about. And so this vessel showed how big words and certain way of dressing was tricking all these gifted people. Hear the word gifted people. So in the colonized created poor areas, it was obviously the people were gifted. People were very gifted, but just had a lot of tricksters around them that didn't guide them in the correct way. So this vessel automatically saw the trap. If someone from a colonized created rich area gave up those riches or went into a colonized created poor area to try to teach them how to do those gifts productively, not hustle the block, they wouldn't listen because they would say, well, why is that rich person here? They must want something. Now, here's the crazier part of the sick mentality pushed into the colonized created poor areas because colonized created poor people will make all this nonsense to get at people in their own hood who might be selling drugs on the same block that come from the rich people, supposedly might be gay, straight, or bisexual in a strange way, or pedophiles, but then yet will work for a record exec, any kind of corporate person that they know is doing those acts.
Owe me a dub from last week, fool. Oh, nigga, much as I bought from you, you gonna trip about that? Come on, man. Yeah, go, man. I got $2 for you, man. I know I'm a little short, but you know, you motherfucking fool, nigga. Come with 20, nigga. Come with 20. Man, I ain't got nothing. Come on, man. That nigga's money back. Give me my $2 back, at least, man. Give me my $2. I'll go buy a cheeseburger, man. Let me go buy a burger.
Man, you got some money or not?
Oh, man, come on, man. What took me up this time?
Nigga, you crazy. Hook you up. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Check this out, man. I got these burgers, man. They some double cheeseburgers.
Nigga, I just ate.
Man,
I just ate. Fool, I don't want no motherfucking cheeseburger. If you ain't got no money, you just asked out.
Call this motherfucker.
Yo, dog, hurry up!
Fuck.
Come on, man. Wait, man. Man, I suck your dick. Come on, man. Just hook me up.
What the fuck you just say, nigga?
Man, I said I suck your dick. Come on, man. Let's get
Fuck.
Ah! Damn.
Suck on that, you bitch-ass trick.
Oh, dog, what the fuck you doing?
Yo, dog, hurry up!
Any of y'all want a hamburger? What's wrong? You don't want no hamburger?
I don't want no motherfucking hamburger.
You got cheese on it.
Man, you stupid, man.
I got it from that base head.
Stupid.
So you see how stupid it looks. We're about to talk about drugs. If you meet someone who's an addict, quote unquote, is what the system says, an addict. So say there's people who have their parents who are on drugs, and so the baby comes out a drug baby. You can never blame the baby for that. Now, we don't even know the lives of the parents, but if they're the same, you can never blame them. Let me take y'all out of a trick knowledge. Trick knowledge means something that's not real, but the system tries to make y'all believe. If the system was really just, there would be more drug makers and drug sellers in jail than drug users. Eat that for a second. So now, the system also tells people that drug addicts just stop doing it. No. And then people who really believe in justice and believe in truth, you would just say to the system, stop selling it, stop making it. It's almost like this virus and vaccination. Y'all need to stop looking at the Tuskegee Project and all these things before and tell them, stop making these viruses. Why are you testing these animals? Bats, rats, mice, Matter of fact, let's go into the conversation. Octopus. Why are you testing an octopus? Let's watch.
Here are 5 times scientists gave animals drugs and what they actually learned. Normally, octopuses don't really like to hang out with friends. Aside from a brief get-together for mating, they're pretty much loners.
Oh, so did the octopuses tell the scientists that? They don't speak octopus language. And then part 2. Let's use common sense, which is not taught in school. It's not that the octopus don't like to be with other octopuses. Here's the easiest way to say it. Say an octopus just one day came with a whole bunch of octopuses and opened up the door of your house or opened up the door of your bathroom and walked in and just started looking at y'all. Would y'all be normally doing everything y'all normally do every day? No, you would be, what's that? And go to a corner or try to run. That's what these animals do, y'all. These scientists lie to y'all. You can never study an animal in its natural habitat if you're not from their nature. The minute they see y'all there, they're not going to do what they normally do. You don't need to be a brain surgeon for that one. You just need to be human to figure that one out. Moving on.
So to learn more about their social behavior, scientists recently decided to see what happened if they gave them ecstasy. Yes, that ecstasy. The scientific term for ecstasy is MDMA, which stands for a really long chemical name that we'll just put up on the screen for you.
This is what y'all vote for. It's crazy because of these big words, y'all impressed. The first thing y'all should say is what I said in elementary school when they showed me videos like this. I was like, well, first, what are you doing in the ocean bothering an octopus? No, I'm not going to believe that the octopus neurology is similar to mine. No, that thing has tentacles, has many arms. It can't walk on land. I can't swim like that. I can't stay in the water that long. Try again. Try again. Not interested. Try again. Just money makes y'all contradict yourselves. Y'all would rather kill somebody that look like y'all, but won't kill the people y'all know that don't look like y'all that have put the poison in y'all. Y'all would rather kill somebody that look like y'all, but won't kill the people y'all know that don't look like y'all that have put the poison in y'all. That's crazy. One more time, to say it the way y'all taught race and racism, it's crazy to see non-whites complain about white people who always put poisons, drugs, sexual afflictions on them. It's crazy to see non-whites kill each other and don't come nowhere near whites.
You're cool with me, nigga. I like you. I like you a lot.
See, a lot of y'all are not going to be able to get past that message because y'all can't even go far enough to imagine S&M, B&D sexual pleasures with 2 of those different skin colors acting that out for sexual pleasure. A lot of y'all who don't know what S&M, B&D is, it's just a pleasure that these people like. They love pain and delivering it or receiving it. So if we go around the planet, we always see that white people have something to do with it. Those who believe in race. But that was the trick. And this vessel picked up on it young, very young. What tripped this vessel up as a child was when we were showed videos about the civil rights era. We were like, wait, why would somebody want rights or want to be equal to what's killing them on the street? Dogs sent by police out on them, so that means the politicians gave laws to legalize the fact they can put the dogs on them. We used to say in school, private Christian school, who would be that stupid to want rights, vote for, and be equal to that? See, that's when this vessel as a child didn't matter to quote unquote whatever the system was calling black leaders. This vessel knew the game was up. And the other children in the class, we know, oh, this is a game. So, those who have white kids supposedly have guilt for their ancestors for the past of white people. This vessel has to laugh because it's a hoax. Because if you have really had past transgressions and wanted forgiveness for their ancestors, one, y'all wouldn't be supporting your ancestors system that's still here. It's still the same system where they still show brutality on non-whites. They still do things that are not correct for non-whites. And if they do help non-whites, it's only those non-whites that do business the way whites want. So white guilt's a lie. That's one. Two, then y'all should have no problem with any non-white coming into your home, beating y'all down, beating up y'all, your children, your family, because that's what your ancestors did to colonize. And your colonizers, your descendants, had the nerve to tell non-whites, well, just forgive us because that's the past. So the past only means 1 second behind. So right now, after this video, if some non-white came in and just beat the mess out of y'all and then said a second later, just forgive for the past. Y'all should be forgiving it if you truly have white guilt, but y'all don't. Moving on. The third one, the easiest one. Where's the remedies, white guilt people? The one main remedy, just like y'all expect all non-whites to pay taxes into white people. Obviously, it's mostly white people that are in all these political positions. And what that means is even those who go to quote unquote other countries, colonized, created countries, there's usually a white person in the back. There's usually a white person there. It doesn't matter what quote unquote country it is. That illusion of it's not run by white people when we know it's mostly Europe, quote unquote, that colonized everywhere on the planet. Y'all remedy can easily be just like non-whites pay taxes, pay into them. Y'all falsely call it reparations, but it's just about payment. So pay in for your apology. Pay into it every month. Send non-whites a check, not a stimulus check. Send non-whites an apology check, but you're not gonna do that. So that's why white guilt is just a lie, and that's why at the end of the day, it looks like y'all just all in this together. It just looks like whites are the sadists and non-whites are the masochists, and y'all like to do bondage and domination to each other. And this vessel kind of knows that because a lot of people that this vessel dated that were quote unquote white that thought this vessel was black, but black is just a color and it's not the mind state that goes behind the definition of black. This vessel has never been into. So this vessel was in relationships where white people would want this vessel to call them sexually a nigga or some kind of terminology that put them down so they could feel what black people went through. And this vessel never did it because this vessel just sort of stupid. This vessel was making notes for this mission and just seeing like, wow, okay, there's a lot of beings out here. There's not a lot of humans. The economic wisdom idea for dancers project is something that if those who have white guilt, y'all could do. And those who are non-white and y'all want to get out the clutches of white people, this is something y'all can do. So if y'all approach this human vessel, and to be totally clear with the title, human believer vessel, this vessel will treat y'all as a species. And have been. Y'all may not notice it, but y'all have been treated like that by this vessel for decades. This vessel doesn't care if you're Puerto Rican, if you're Cuban, if you're Irish, if you're Italian. None of that was in the beginning of time, so it's all systematically created. Only in race and racism is there really a choice to get out of it. This vessel has proved around the planet, this vessel has met people of different skin colors that are gifted. Done. Moving on. Women to this vessel are an amazing gift from God in order to have children. This vessel does not believe just using them for sex. And those women that use that womb for that reason, it's obvious they were violated. Period. That's easy. Men, that's where this vessel saw being violated as a child. Like, just do whatever dirty you're going to do with them because it's easier access. Just putting that out there because, again, working with celebrities, this vessel remembers coming off stages and hotels were filled with men or women. First of all, how did they get the key to get in the room? But the organizer, whatever, would fill the hotel room up with men or women. When y'all finally get to that point, a lot of y'all going out just to hope for or wish for that kind of thing to happen to y'all. When that happens to you and you're not looking for it, it gets very boring very fast. And this vessel was on long tour with artists for the whole first 2 albums. And this vessel worked with celebrities that were platinum, double platinum, triple platinum artists. And this vessel was on tour with women artists, so the offers were crazy. Not from the actual artists, but actually, well, some artists, but since it's a woman, it's a lot of men and women-based fans. This is why we watch the women cross-dressing thing. This vessel is to save the children. This is not going to happen while this vessel's alive. A lot of people the same age as this vessel, y'all should be ashamed of yourself. When y'all got Flip Wilson, Patrick Swayze, all these people already done wore dresses. It's all nonsense at this point. Listen to this. 70s, 80s, majority of people look like women in entertainment, and then women look like men. Let's not forget, go to Grace Jones, Slave to the Rhythm. Prince, most people didn't know what he was. You might as well call that a walking drag queen, rest in peace. But in the 80s, Purple Rain, Bon Jovi, Motley Crue, Twisted Sister, all those rock groups, they all look like drag queens or women. The long hair and had the extra makeup. Ozzy Osbourne. Come on, y'all. This vessel is not saying this is right or wrong. This vessel is saying it's boring for children who can YouTube all this to go to the past. I mean, this video's from 1920s, and y'all actually doing this to children, acting like it's a big agenda to cross-dress. If it was such a big agenda, y'all would have chased the system down for it. But what y'all doing is you're getting paid to make propaganda and gossip and all that. And this vessel's wondering where the children's parents are, because any child that has a parent this age should be shutting it down with videos like this. This is nothing new. There's nothing new going on.
Well then, how am I doing?
Waiting. What happened to your voice?
People talk about, men, Hollywood actors and stuff talk about how they were always asked to wear a dress and all that stuff, right? And he went on to Oprah and said that he refused to wear a dress when, you know, at one point they told him he had to. He said, nah, not me, not gonna wear a dress. Because I have a standard and I'm funnier than a dress. Dress ain't gonna make me more funny. His words. That didn't age well. And I'm still, well, let me say it didn't, not that it didn't age well. Either he was lying or it didn't age well. Because I can't remember when he did that interview with Oprah, but I do remember a certain movie that Mr. Chappelle was in. Tell me if this looks familiar, people.
No, man, you got to zoom in on her. I mean, him.
Oh, hold on. I could add. That's a dress. Okay, that is a dress.
Somebody
Those
says
are
not.
cups, you know. No, I'm just saying. I'm just making sure people understand.
Oh, okay.
That's a dress. Yeah.
Who is?
It is. It's an outfit. He wore it with a bunch of other white men too. By the way, it's not just black people that get asked to wear a dress. It's all everybody, because it's an initiation thing for Hollywood.
No, but the white men don't have to wear the dresses. Only the blacks.
But so here's apparently they do. Apparently they all do.
Oh, look what
but he
Pam
lied
said.
then. Okay, he lied.
I'll see them.
Hey, now, get out. You were wonderful on stage. You had me mesmerized. Sorry.
Thank you. Please come to my room.
Oh, she's out to see now. There, please. Oh, such a beautiful face.
for the good, the bad, and the ugly.
How do you like the boobs?
Later.
The envelope, please.
Find out who stays and who kisses their $250,000 dream goodbye.
Is this your worst nightmare, or is it just mine?
What the hell are you doing? Look, you said you wanted me to do something for a career, and I'm doing it.
Are you sure we really want to put on this dress?
Oh, you're right. It makes us look fat. Slow down, Paul. There's chemistry in the air.
That's me. I just got this blouse back from the dry cleaners.
One question. Where have you been all my life? One.
Even if you didn't wear a dress and you're in the same movie as someone who wore a dress, you're in the same movie. So shut up. So with that being said, that also goes into the transgender and the drag queen community. When y'all really want to be honest, see, this vessel is just being very, very clear on this video that children, don't think this is not a gender. Straight, gay, bisexual, transgender, drag queen, it's all an act. It's all an S&M B&D act. Mental, verbal, physical, financial, spiritual, and medicinal. It's an act. What does that mean? It's an act. When a transgender person wants to really be honest, and a drag queen person wants to really be honest about that quote-unquote lifestyle, this vessel is from the colonized land named New York and grew up in the 80s and saw all that. All this stuff being talked about, this vessel saw. Majority of drag queen and transgender people, they're clients, because don't get it tricked, children, clients, because they were not working in regular 9-to-5 jobs and corporate jobs back then. So their clients, when they were on the street, and police would pick them up and get a service, and then kill them, throw them in the water in the pier. Those who don't know, go look at the documentary Paris Burning, because this vessel knew some of those people from a club called the Tunnel in New York when this vessel was dancing in New York. Come on, y'all. This vessel was a dance teacher and does not push away students. So this vessel has had transgender, drag queen, gay, straight, bisexual, redneck, African, y'all name it, students, because this vessel does many dance styles, and we all know that. Some students have invited this teacher to shows they do. So this vessel is not scared of anything. So went to drag shows and transgender shows. They do like karaoke shows back in the 80s. And, you know, didn't know it was one of those type of shows because they always love to try to surprise y'all. It was no surprise. The show's a show. So just went there, just taking notes on the clients. Now, in the 80s, the clients were mostly white businessmen, white rednecks, like the ones with the bikers and the beards and the blah, blah, blah. What they call silver daddies, which is more the collegiate professor, which is more the professor-looking type, the politician-looking type, with the clean hair. But these are all white people. I hope you're starting to connect something. They look like politicians. I hope you're starting to connect something. They look like doctors, lawyers. Those were some of their professions. And that's all we would see. Majority of the clients were married with children. Children, don't let this vessel lose y'all, because politicians make your laws. If the places were so bad, why are they open? Children, this is way before anything called gay marriage. This is way before that. This is the 80s. So this vessel just watched, took notes, because think, y'all, in the military, you have gay sergeants, you have all these different, every category being listed, there's people like that in the military. So look at all those people that wore dresses. There's a lot more. And there's even people who supposedly were straight, but they played gay on screen. And then they forget YouTube exists, and they forget there's people the age of this vessel and then older that saw a lot of them start their career doing the lies that they're telling now.
Get these guys out of here.
Now, what about his sexual partner, Surgeon General?
You're quite right, young lady.
I thought you told me you were going bowling.
I was gonna go bowling, really.
I don't know in no bowling alley stay up until 4 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing here? Quite obviously, honey, you just came to pick up that spare. But let me tell you one thing. I don't see how you could pour that little thing out in front of a stranger anyway. You know every time you go to pull it out, you gotta get the tweezers. Baby, I seen more meat on the neck bone. I see you at the house.
I'm going bowling too. But I miss you, Rob. I really miss you.
I was in jail once.
So a lot of people say it's entertainment. Interesting how fans could be crying, hyperventilating, some of them drop dead watching these concerts, or finally meeting these actors and actresses or musicians in different forms of performers. So obviously, it's not entertainment, it's not just fun.
Oh, there's some people who didn't work with this vessel or Keith Williams and other people because they thought, oh, those people are gay or bisexual, so they're going to try something on me. And that only shows a reflection that they must have been molested when they were younger. But certain people may have been after them. But for me, people of this skin color that were male are not attractive at all. Are they good looking? Yes. See, there's a difference. Attractive mean nothing. Genitalia moves for them. But a good looking, sure. The skin color is the color of the sun, meaning when the sun hits it, it gets darker. Cool. Sexually attractive? No, because this vessel always saw that kind of sexual preference coming from being violated as a child. Anybody this color was not getting anywhere near this vessel. Nowhere. Now when we go to the other side of the bisexual, which is straight, this vessel was only attracted to mixed people. So this vessel says Latina, but that's because it looks like that. So it can be white and Asian, or white and black, or Hawaiian, but it has to be mixed. It's what this vessel likes. That's what the eyes likes when it sees it. That's called a preference. There's nothing that's going to change this vessel about that. So a pervert is different. Perversion is a person that goes crazy just for a pair of breasts, or crazy for how long or short a male genitalia is. That's a pervert. That can be gay, straight, bisexual, transgender, drag queen, anything. A pervert can hide under any name.
Let's say there's this post about Uganda, which is still a colonized name. Please wake up, y'all. Anybody on land that's now using money, you're colonized. Because the animals and insects they copy and never use money. Again, children, speak into the land and say, where are we? It will not say New York, Texas, Uganda, Nigeria. Someone had to name that land, but the land will still never tell you that. So that means it doesn't exist. This is all a colonized system. So with that system in place, there was this post this vessel saw about Uganda killing gay people and lesbian acts, and it could all be a lie, but it's just a post that was out there. So this vessel laughed because this vessel knows most gay, bisexual, lesbian, and straight, like this video already said, were violated children. So if you kill the victims because they grew up believing they're gay, straight, bisexual, and all that, because who names them that? The actual violator, the system that violated them, put those names on them. Because gay many years ago meant happy. That's all it meant. It didn't mean a sexuality. The word bisexual didn't really exist. Straight was heterosexual. That's how we're born. So a lot of y'all realize they're putting names on y'all, right? But the pedophile, which is another name, violator or predator, gets away because that is the one that makes the laws on y'all. So look how they can always hide. Constantly hide. So we are taught in the histories that there was colonization and slavery and There was wars, and in these wars, certain men raped women, raped children, raped men. This is why I want to ask y'all. How can a person's genitalia get excited for all three? Think about that yourselves. Think about that. For all three. That means that person doesn't have a sexuality. Ask yourself what sexuality really means. And so the easiest victim after that, if the victim becomes celibate, which means no sex, then they constantly after them. They're not having sex because they're doing A, B, C, and D. The actual predator that works in the system as a politician or some kind of, supposed to be public servant but doing civil service, they can easily put out a lie on somebody. And a lot of y'all believe it because a lot of y'all don't want to get caught in what y'all are actually doing. Because a lot of y'all are violated children that grew up taking the perversions and want to believe it's normal because that's what the system told y'all. So a lot of y'all secretly watch adult movies or secretly go to certain type of shops and secretly getting all these paraphernalia of, quote unquote, afflicted pleasures. And y'all don't want people to know, especially y'all children. And so what y'all do is when y'all see something weird, y'all automatically talk against it because y'all doing it. The gay, lesbian, transgender, perverted, straight community is not a small community, y'all. It's not even a community. It's a worldwide thing. Those who don't travel like this vessel has traveled a lot. If anybody wants to make a test, I advise anyone, once y'all become 18 and over, going to a strip club, going to a peep show, y'all will see just how many people are afflicted and have issues from when they were children. Children, when y'all get older, this vessel is not saying to go, but this vessel is saying if y'all don't believe what this vessel is saying, y'all go, but go with friends so they can protect y'all. Because that visual is going to mess y'all up. This is just a warning. This vessel already being molested and raped as a child had no scare to go in because it was already violated. So this vessel went everywhere. And just took notes. If we notice, this vessel doesn't only blame men. This vessel knows women's a part of it. See, there's this stigma that women cannot molest and rape a child. That's some of the most deviant ones. It's the women. Because people think, naturally, how can a woman rape a child when the woman doesn't have a certain thing that can go in something? They can use something. Plunger, knife, fork. There's actually a sexual community for that in the S&M, B&D category. How does this vessel know? Because this vessel actually ran into a person like that. And when the person said that they were part of that community, this vessel was like, see you later, no thanks. But this vessel wasn't stupid. Gotta take notes. Gotta see it. Gotta see it. What y'all see, take notes of to expose so that the reality of life can be seen like this video. This vessel was taught by a great teacher, Phil Black. What goes on in the bedroom is nobody's business. It's about the talent. It's about the gift. So when people would question this vessel from street dance to ballet to tap to everything, this vessel would always say, none of your business, or just tell them what they want to hear. Because this vessel knew none of y'all are getting in the bedroom with this vessel. So believe what y'all want. Because realize, y'all, when people ask what is y'all sexual preference or what are y'all into, they really want to get into the bedroom with you. But if you say things like, well, I'm not into this right now, or I'm celibate, or I'm more spiritual, or I'm this way or that way, if they really want y'all, they'll wait. This vessel knows this for a fact. This vessel has had many people who played friends that tried to get into this vessel's pants throughout the years, male and female. Children, listen to the music in the world, listen to what's allowed on social media, listen to what goes viral, it tells y'all what masses are into. But y'all see posts of people's butts spread and talking about drugs and talking about, killing each other and all that. That tells y'all where the masses are at. So this festival is only about exposing the nonsense and then moving forward in full power love, productivity, nature, and faith, which should be the human beings that follow that and human believers' DNA. Let's continue. But the system makes these nice little therapies where people give a testimony to someone in authority who only went to college to get a degree. Doesn't mean you can trust them. A lot of y'all who go to these drug programs and all this stuff, y'all think it's trustworthy? If it's trustworthy, how do y'all make movies about it? That means somebody broke confidentiality. Wake up, y'all. You can't have TV shows and stuff about things that are confidential. So let's do it for all y'all that are scared. Yes, they watch your emails. Yes, they watch the chats. Matter of fact, they put it in the guidelines and stuff like that about 8 years ago. Yes, they have special machines. Yes, they tap your phones. Yes, they're bots that look like insects or animals or even quote unquote humans. Just getting it all out there. Because is it a conspiracy theory? No. This vessel has seen it when traveling. And this vessel has run into some of those bots. They're very interesting because they can be mosquitoes in the winter, which that doesn't really exist. They can be bots that look like animals, and they can hit things in the middle of the night when a person's walking or alone. Y'all have to realize this is no different from an advanced version of a chain gang or those who believe in that illusion of racism that move at night and lynch people and all that at night. It's just about purpose and intention. Their intention is confusion and destruction. This idea, the intention is full power love, productivity, nature, and faith. These higher powers, energies, forces, or y'all can say God and the devil, fallen angels and angels, there's a little game they playing. What that means is the game is nobody knows what the devil and the fallen angels or God and the angels or these energy and forces truly look like. If y'all dare to say God created all things, you have to remember y'all believe that. So if y'all believe God created all things or something created all things, and then also y'all need to stop falling prey to the fact that if the image of God is male, female, that's saying that he's both. I just want to wake y'all up on that. Remember, Eve supposedly comes from Adam. So that means she's not even her own entity. She's from a rib. Wake up, y'all. A rib in God's hands. Wake up. And what that means, wake up, is trying to say, y'all don't have a clue what God looks like. Because God can look like whatever God wants. And y'all have no clue what the angels look like. Because the angels come from one form to another in these spiritual books. So for sure, and the fallen angels, y'all have no clue. Y'all heard about a dragon, but that's supposed to be the devil. So what do the rest of the fallen angels look like? They could be of all skin colors. That's why you have to look at the intention, the purpose, the way people do things. It's obvious the system that keeps pushing propaganda and confusion and destruction and poison into the foods and the fruits and the vegetables and the water. Obviously, they're showing where they're at. Obviously. Constantly making new drugs and viruses and putting them on the street, blaming y'all for it. Obviously, they show where you're at. Y'all keep trying to pray for them. Why would y'all pray for something that keeps doing that? Even y'all so-called Jesus didn't do that. Jesus was like throwing over tables and running them out the temple and giving them strong speeches. The temple and that symbolism is this body we've been given. So, come on, y'all. Everything that the politicians legalize, and they make organizations that legalize lyrics, that's why the whole life of Tupac and all that is a fake. What I mean fake, maybe the person's dead or not. But those lyrics back then, children, those who don't know history, lyrics back then were seen through an organization of writers. Why the main music that sells around the planet only talks about sinful things, violence, rape, thievery, drugs, and it's legalized first. A lot of people who may not know, lyrics have to be looked at. So then for the so-called law enforcement to say, what are these lyrics about? If you have drug affiliation, gangster affiliation, they had to see the lyrics in order for it to go out to the public. We didn't have internet back in the time Tupac was out, and even MCs and rappers before him. This is all a joke. So it's just boring. It's boring to see some of these posts in the feed. It always comes through the feed about cross-dressing and the gay agenda and all that. And it's not even gay, it's pedophile. So really, be quick on that. The majority of the people in the categories that this vessel just named, those are the victims. The pedophiles are the ones that are your oppressors. But then y'all not going to get at them. Y'all too scared for that. A lot of y'all who are this age and older, y'all too scared to do videos like this. Y'all way too scared because y'all enjoying them. Children know it. Doesn't matter if it's in family or not. Know this. Definitions. It's the most important thing in the world because words are how they're defined is how we communicate. So many people have issues over the same words being used with a different definition. Definition of today, look up the word public servant. So this word, when we look it up, has many different job positions, job titles. The most important thing to realize is that the word is serve ants. So they are below the human. They serve the humans. They serve the public. They serve taxpayers, whether they vote or not. And so with that being said, let's ask ourselves, is the public really being served, or do we see more civil duty? Look up those words. So civil duty is different from serving the public. So some people do more civil duty, which is just serving what the government says, as opposed to public servant. Public servants should make sure those who pay taxes, whether voting or not, are safe. Make sure there's no legal activity that children or them can see, and make sure that everything's being treated fairly. So the reason why this vessel ends on the law enforcement message is because there are 4 incidences why this vessel is doing this mission that's been going on for a long time. A lot of people who know this vessel and dance don't realize it's a long time mission. So the first incident was a little strong for those who don't grow up like this, but coming from a colonized, created, upper middle class, and going to a school in a colonized, created, rich, elite area, when this vessel went to church in a colonized, created, poor area, saw a baby get his head bit off by a dog at 3 years young, and the public servant, aka police, shot the dog about 10 feet away from this vessel, and the older brother, who was only 3 years older. Incident number 2, the older brother of this vessel had a friend that was shot in the mouth in a colonized, created, middle class, upper middle class area. And it was just interesting to this vessel how this person who was 18 and the older brother's friend was 13. It was interesting how this person actually could have a gun at the time. This is the 80s, y'all, so it is a little difficult to have a gun. And also this vessel was very in shock that it was an interesting story when the child died. The spirit of that child came to everyone's door and said she was okay. Everyone in the neighborhood remembered this person. So those 2 incidents sound very strong. No, it's the next 2 that pushed this vessel as a child to, 1, know that this vessel was never going to get married, and then 2, knew this vessel was going to be all about spirituality and testing the spirits. Why is this important? Because this vessel realized the system's teaching chases children to give them effects and then to use them for later when they get adults and then try to call those effects criminal. These last 2 examples are very strong. So there was one example where this vessel's older brother, rest in peace. Definitely, please rest in peace. So definitely, because he had a hard life. But this vessel's older brother was approached by a coach at a high school, and the coach was what y'all are taught to call racist, but this vessel knows it's a spirit. The coach offered 15 years young, older brother at the time, to a sexual offer to videotape the older brother with the coach's wife. Or the coach would stop the older brother from going further into college with an academic or sports scholarship. Of course, the brother, being very heavily into God and all that, and also into scholastic work, felt that, you know, the system is supposed to be just and you get what you work for. And so, straight A student, the whole nonsense. Nonsense, because this vessel knew very young, around kindergarten, is nonsense. You don't get what you work for. Again, it's an older brother, so being the older brother and being the first, life has to be taught in a different way. It has to be taught more situation circumstance, while when it's the baby of the family, it's easy to watch everybody make mistakes before it gets to the youngest. So the youngest can just write things down and know how to, you know, be wise as a slave, harmless as a dove very easily, because they're watching all the mistakes. So, of course, older brother says no, and the coach stops the scholarships and everything, but just the violation of offering to have sex on camera with the wife, that was enough. And this vessel watched the older brother slowly just go crazy. Totally comprehensible why. The second one, the older brother, is the same story again. So the older brother, around the same age, 15, was heavily into the hip-hop culture. And so there was a couple, not just one, but there was a couple prolific figures in hip-hop culture that were touching children and touching teens. One of them came after this older brother, you know, rest in peace. And this is the interesting part right here. This is why this video is being made. This vessel was very wise as a child. So, and that can be very dangerous for a lot of people. So this vessel knew that nobody in life is that rough, tough. Nobody's that strong. Because if they were, we wouldn't be in the situation we are in the world. Majority of people are scared of something. And so that's why nothing has changed. They're scared of the military or scared of something. So nothing has changed. And so this vessel had an older brother that wasn't scared of anything. And it just got the older brother killed. And that was it. And that's what happens when people try to go on solo missions. So there's a way of going on solo missions and just being wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove, and just kind of looking at things and figuring them out just to write them down for later, which is what this vessel started doing around 7 years young, maybe younger, saying this publicly, since this vessel knew it was never going to get married, did not mind, after being molested and raped, the body being used certain ways by adults as a more top figure of the situation, not a bottom figure of the situation, to find out stuff. Didn't mind it. So, going back to the story, this prolific figure in hip-hop culture tried to drug the older brother of this vessel, and some girls took the older brother out, luckily, and the older brother came home and was like, I'm going to kill that faggot, I'm going to kill that faggot. And so, children, so people know the difference between the word faggot. In that category, punk, which is another reference for a feminine gay man, faggot, which is a reference for a polygamous gay man, just like the B word is for a polygamous woman. Both refers to the person as being straight or gay with adults only. Then we have pedophile. It could be straight, gay, or bisexual. That means someone that chases children. So when the older brother was coming home at 15 and saying, that faggot, he likes children, that faggot, he likes children, this vessel knew, of course, not to say anything, because the person was the older brother was in a strange place. But this vessel was saying, how can a faggot like children? This is the vessel was saying in the head. How is that possible? Because there's a difference. Faggots don't like children. They like having sex with the same age or older, meaning if they're adults already, they like having sex with the same age or older. They don't like children. It just means they're promiscuous, meaning like they have a lot of sex with adults. This vessel was just kind of watching it until the older brother got a gun and then realized this was really too serious to talk about at this moment. So the older brother went and did whatever the older brother had to do. Rest in peace. But with that being said, this vessel then was on a full-out mission. So I just gave you the 4 situations that built up to this full-out mission of love and healing and trying to warn the next generations. So the way we test the spirits in this situation, this vessel knew it had a gift of dance, knew it. So this vessel knew the more and more this vessel kept dancing, we eventually run into these prolific figures in not only hip hop, but a bunch of other places that were touching people and touching children and all that. And this vessel was testing from that young. The brother was 15 and then this vessel was 12. When anybody ever heard from 7 years young to like 14 years young that this vessel was a dancer that did ballet and all that other stuff, forget the street dance stuff. All of a sudden, it will always be these masculine men. The genitals will pop out. And at 7 years young, no one's thinking about sex at all. The vessel would look at them and go, "Oh, what does ballet and jazz have to do with that genital?" And then the vessel realized, "Oh, this is a systematic teaching. There's something wrong here." Not hate that person for what they're doing, because this vessel found out later it happened to those people. This happened to them, they were young. And unfortunately, a pedophile did it to them and turned them now into pedophiles because they're chasing children. This vessel was very inspired by a movie that came out. I won't say the movie because it was a strong movie for children, but it was a movie where a woman was a prostitute and she basically was killing off these men that were cheating behind their wives and all that stuff. So the vessel did the same trick she would do. People would come after her first, and this vessel believes in the total rule: if you bother somebody, it doesn't matter what their reaction is. Shouldn't have bothered them. And that's it. So a lot of people, when they say someone's too harsh in the response for what somebody did, that's your fault. Shouldn't have bothered them. Then you wouldn't have to get a response. Period. Just like if people on land all of a sudden started just murdering all the colonizers and their descendants, so what? Y'all ancestors should have never did that, and y'all should not be following the same system of your ancestors, teaching all this nonsense, sexualities and racism and all that. No. So if that all of a sudden one day happened, who cares? Y'all shouldn't have been doing it. Never be ashamed of the reaction for somebody bothering y'all. Never. So this vessel said, okay, time to do some research. This vessel had no problem if somebody was 40 chasing someone that was 23, because those are adults. Who cares? But there's a problem when you're 25 and you're chasing someone 14 or 12. There's a problem. 12 years old, 14, the thinking is not complete yet to even know if that person, what choice they're going to do in life. And so no one should ever come after them. So growing up, this vessel finally got into the, all the street dance cultures. Probably by the time this vessel was 13, 14, was already getting a name in the street dance culture. And then the name became very strong around 87, 88, 89, moving on to that. So what became interesting was finally getting on the road with these people. This vessel would do strong tests with people. So again, this vessel already was raped and molested, did not care, and already was brought to nude beaches, so didn't care about being nude. And so this vessel, this vessel was going to put this out there without the names. So this is how strong this vessel tested things. When being homeless legitimately from helping a lot of people, would go along with the homeless and see what would go on sexually, because people don't realize homeless doesn't mean nasty. Like, we all can be homeless. We're all one check away from being homeless. The banks can wipe all your money. Y'all be back on the street. The problem with y'all don't realize, if you come from land, you're not taking showers every day. If you come from land, you might take a bath in a lake, but those who ever been out there, it's not the same kind of bath like a shower. We all have a certain smell on us that's going to stay there. So what was interesting being out there with the homeless in a sexual way was marking all the military people that were out there. And so that brought this vessel into some very, very interesting things. This vessel would now start finding out ways where people who were saying somebody was a pedophile would test it. We're always hearing out there that people would say, yeah, if someone touched my child, I would kill him. If I ran into a pedophile, I would kill him. You know, and people would cross the strange lines. If someone said they were gay, especially in the colonized, created poor areas where the education is a lot lower purposely, people were mistaking gay people for pedophiles. But what made this vessel strange as a young kid was like, wait, a gay person is two men, a lesbian is two women, so why are y'all sitting there watching movies with two women in it? That's gay too. Gay is homosexual. It just means the same sex. So if two men are considered pedophiles, then so should two women then. But that's not how it works. Gay and lesbian means two of the same adults that like to be with each other, whether frequently or monogamously, it doesn't matter. So with that being said, this vessel started testing people's mouths. So being in the Bay community was the easiest way to test it. Why would y'all think that is? Because no one can be a child or a teen with a belly, full out beard, and big. No one can be. There's no one that grows that fast. So this vessel started bringing certain dates around people in the hip hop or house community just to see what they would say. Not saying they were dates, just bring them around, and most of them ended up liking them, hanging out with them, having no problem with them. Only towards a later life, probably like 8 years ago, this vessel brought one date around that purposely didn't look good, just to see if people were really into that beauty is an eye of the beholder thing. No, all people started whispering. This vessel was dying laughing because this vessel knows how people are systematically categorized. Then the last one was on a plane. Not going to mention the two people behind, but one was a famous dancer in hip hop and one was a famous dancer in the commercial world. And both of them were supposedly straight and hardcore. And so a rabbi, true story, rabbi comes on the plane and this vessel is sitting there, the two people behind. And the two people watching this, y'all probably surprised this vessel was saying this, but this is how much there's a difference between the upper middle class area and the lower class area that the colonizers created. What's interesting is the differences between the colonized, that's the correct way to really say it because of what it does. Colonized created labeled areas around the planet. So around the planet, those who don't get it, it's one world system. What does that mean? Look, y'all have areas around the planet that are all the same. Ghetto, low income, poor, middle class, upper middle class, rich, and elite areas. How many people have been through all three since childhood? This vessel doesn't even know many at all. This vessel has an older brother that was, rest in peace, but this vessel only knows this vessel that has lived through all those. Saturdays and Sundays was in the poor, ghetto, low income areas to go to church, dance schools, regular rich Christian private schools were the middle class, upper middle class, rich elite areas 5 days a week since childhood. So this vessel knows all those areas and just laughs because here's the laughing part. Oh, in the colonized created or colonized created poor, ghetto, low income areas, everybody's rough, tough with the Afro puff. And what that means is, y'all, if you felt like killing me and shooting me for saying it like that, the people or the beings that put y'all in those colonized created areas, get at them first, because that's really the people that are laughing at y'all. But y'all too scared of that, so you're not rough and tough. More the Afro puff. So this rabbi comes on and is so interested in this vessel that they create a hole in the pants where they can do certain things. Not getting graphic here. So this vessel goes along with the action. It's on a public plane. There's actually an older rabbi right next. Now, those who know what rabbis look like, they have to have long beards and all that. So there's no way to show that they're children. Realize that planes are made of, they have a TV in the front, right? A TV screen. But when it's off, as being dance teachers, we can see when someone's behind us because there's a glare. So, of course, the one from the hip hop culture is more hardcore. But yet this vessel used to always ask questions like, well, how come y'all didn't kill people back in the day that were chasing these children? And this vessel knew the answer was because y'all probably were touched. But that's why this vessel's not going to say names. And in the commercial world, the majority of people in the commercial world is just perverted, period. So this vessel was just laughing at the other one. Now, those who know how planes work, there's a glare between each seat. So when this vessel sees in the glare, there's no more right there between the two seats, someone's watching. So this vessel knew where they were sitting. And so continued on with the play the rabbi was initiating. Even after the plane ride was over, this vessel got a ride home from the rabbi and watched the other two people behind as they were going out the plane. This vessel said goodbye because this vessel was waiting for either, yo, what's up with B, blah, 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 or waiting for a fight because this vessel was like, well, since y'all always talk about, y'all gonna come after, quote unquote, y'all confused between what is gay and a pedophile. So this vessel wanted to see it. Test the spirits. Nobody did nothing because this vessel is still right here 8 years later. So this is when this vessel was really tired of the contradictions in life. So this vessel, that's why it's making this video, because this vessel is not going to sit here watching social media and have people try to reintroduce this false thinking. Because this vessel realized there's more people out here chasing their children than there are people who are gay, lesbian, straight, transgender, drag queen, and want to be with adults. There's much more people out here chasing the children, much more than y'all can imagine. And the sickness is, and this message is for children, and this is for any ages, the sickness is majority of them are married with children. Some of them play with their own children. Married with children so they can hide behind his marriage ring and then go to a prostitution house somewhere over in the colonized land, like Asia, or what they call a third world country. Y'all better stop looking at places like calling it Africa, China, Japan, India, New York. Y'all better stop looking like that. The fact that you have laws that are the same, you can kill people for certain reasons, you can jail people for certain reasons. There's cartoon and X movies. They all show crazy stuff. Y'all better start realizing this is a one world system. See, this is why it's too strange to hear about the talk of masculine and feminine, because if y'all were really either one, y'all would stand up for the children. Femininity nurtures the child. Masculinity protects the child. So the children, we all know the system is getting after, but y'all not standing up for them. So what's the point in having them? What's the point then? If y'all are serving a system you know is confusing and destructive, it's nonsense. You really better hope that higher power, aka God or whatever name it is, that told y'all not to follow this one world system, protects y'all. Better hope it does. See, a lot of the people in the poorer areas think they're living on faith because they're poor. Y'all are not living by faith. Because why are you not living by faith? Y'all already near land. Y'all don't have money. Just like nature. Y'all near land. Y'all should just go outside and live on land. It's not a test of faith coming from poverty, rags to riches. That's not a test of faith. Y'all already there where the prophets and Jesus and everybody was. The hardest test of faith is coming from the richer areas and saying no to all that and want to help people in the poorer areas and do it through productivity, love, nature, and faith. That's a test of faith, because living in those areas, y'all know exactly what goes on. This vessel knew exactly what was going on by the time this vessel was in colonized, created first grade. This vessel got it. It's not about race. It's not about sexuality. It's not about all that. They're all mixing it up. Easily saw that. So then what's next is, okay, there better be a God, because this is obviously a whole system of confusion and destruction. So what do we do now? See, in the colonized, created, label areas, richer and middle class and upper middle class and rich elite areas who publish all the books and stuff that y'all read and push things viral on social media or in the news and all that, they love the rags to riches story, because as y'all think rags to riches is a test of faith or a struggle, it's only saying rags, people on land we took off land to put in a rags the area we created to get to riches to follow them. That's why when y'all get y'all money up, y'all did everything the colonizers' descendants did to y'all to take y'all off land in order to get those riches. So where y'all going? That's the interesting part. Sad. There is a Bible passage that says Jesus had heavenly sorrow for y'all, because yeah, it's sorrowful to see y'all just run in downward spirals. Y'all know idol worship and all that's no good, but y'all want accolades, rewards. Y'all mad y'all didn't get a certain reward for music and all that from them. And then y'all know they ain't no good. So then, obviously, this becomes a S&M B&D game y'all playing. Those children who really come from those areas know what this vessel is talking about. It's unfortunate that majority of people coming from those colonized, created, labeled, upper middle class, rich, and elite areas, they won't talk like this. Because they know all inheritance is done, meaning money. They also know that there's going to be a serious lookout on them. And what that means, lookout, means military, everything's going to be watching them from this point on whenever they say stuff like this. And if they worked in any of those jobs that are confusing and destructive and try to expose it, they're done. This vessel has never done that. That's why this vessel is not really that worried about it. And then also, children, we're all going to die one day anyway. Isn't it strange to die in confusion and destruction and know it? No, it's better to die in full power, love, productivity, faith, and natural things. So, born into sin then becomes an illusion for those who are in the colonized, created, labeled, poor and low income areas, because they think selling drugs to each other, prostituting each other, killing one another, watching people die when they were so young is a tragedy. Y'all die when y'all die. Selling drugs and prostituting stuff, and that all that allowance is from the one world system where the more colonized, created, labeled, rich and elite come from. Because there's a difference. In colonized, created, labeled, poor, low income areas, y'all are taught to be humble. In colonized, created, labeled, middle, upper, rich, elite areas, we're taught to be confident. Notice that the word conceit is not used. Confident. What does confident mean? It means not being too scared to go anywhere regardless of the consequence in order to find out information. While humble means to bow down to something. No one should bow down to something that looks like them. Y'all should only bow down to a higher power. Those in all those colonized, created, label areas that believe in a higher power, we're all supposed to be humble unto God, but then also obedient. But then remember, God tells us to research things, to look for things, then ask. A lot of y'all not even looking. You're not holding account. That's what accountability means. You're not holding account of what's going on. The only way you can hold account of what's going on is you don't trust the TV. That's rumors and gossip and mayhem and all that. You don't trust any of that. Y'all take the physical body, and if y'all can't go over to the other places on the planet that the news and social media is talking about, don't believe it. Go over there. This vessel is going over to these places. Whatever these other colonized, created, labeled countries, cities, and all that y'all talk about, this vessel has been there as a dancer, choreographer, dance judge. And that's why the information this vessel is telling y'all can't be debated. It can't say anything about it because it's right in your face. And the reason why it's right in your face is because then it gives you a clear mind to make a clear choice, if y'all believe choice exists. Because if they don't pay taxes fully, their wages can get garnished. What that means, children, is that the system can just take their wages. Is that really legal? It's not legal, but they can just take them because the system is the one that created work. Those who vote for the system, they actually support that system that people have to work. Children, do people really naturally have to work? No. Y'all will hear in school the story of people found on land. When they were found on land, they did not have to work for money. They were working just to survive. What kind of work? Farming, picking fruit and vegetables so they could eat with one another later, the family. Go and make some kind of clothes from things in nature. And that was it. Now, those who are Christian or Catholic and all these other different beliefs, they can say God made all this for a punishment because of Adam and Eve. That's great. But that punishment took a long time to exist, everyone. Because this system we're in now only started towards the end of the life of Jesus. That's only like 2,000-3,000 years ago. While actual Adam and Eve would be way before that. 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. People, however, whatever counting system people want to throw in it, it's obviously way before the physical life of Jesus. So with that being said, it grew to this point. And Luke 11, 37-54 and Matthew 23, 1-36 was Jesus fighting the formation of this. Now, people can also say, well, Revelation is about to come and that's why this stuff is happening. That's great. Because it says in Revelation, it talks about how things are supposed to be exposed and everything's supposed to be put out there and all that before the end times. Maybe this video is that too. So the Most High or God or whatever name he allows or she allows y'all to realize has to choose someone or some people to push forth John 14:12. Those who do greater works than Jesus. It does not mean y'all created a house and Jesus never created a house, so that's greater works. No, that's different work. Greater works is in the lineage of what he was doing, but more than that, specifically and graphically explaining what is going on in those passages. Luke 11, 37:54, Matthew 23, 1 through 36. This is a version of greater works because Jesus was not specific. Jesus gave the job titles of people to watch out for, but not specifics. So this is greater works. Yes, it's that the system makes money off of afflicted people, and they put them in categories, and they make money at the afflicted places they created for them. That means bars, clubs, whatever. They make money off of it. Is it all about money? No, it's about control more so than the money. But they control with the money because people have to make money to go to those places.
Children, only a pervert or a pedophile would have a private conversation to you about sexual preferences or sexual interests. Remember this. Run if you're running into a pervert. Run if you're running into a pedophile. Run. Run. Don't try to have a conversation. Don't nothing. Run. This vessel puts this out in public because no one's doing this to help the children. This is to help the children. So y'all realize there's a platform that y'all can go from that an adult did it. That this is how you can look at people.
Make sure to believe that pedophiles can be in any position. People don't realize that there's been pedophiles in all those sexual categories. Doctors, lawyers, construction workers, choreographers, dancers, rappers, MCs, DJs, architects, train workers, post office workers, y'all name it. Judges, and pedophiles that are politicians. Majority of the politicians because they write the laws that help pedophilia exist. It's not about the job position, it's about the action. The action is wanting to have a rapport sexually with children. So that kind of action can hide anywhere because it's so easy for them to get at children. Because children need to be escorted. Isn't that the sad part? They go to school, the parents aren't there. So the school teacher's not right, what then? They go to sports, they go to dance, they go to music, they go to any of the arts. What happens if the teachers aren't right and the parents can't be there? The stories are endless. They go to a building of worship. What happens if the leader in the building of worship is not right? Why does it have to be a movie where the actor or actress looks under 18? And then they would say to me, well, a lot of people want to be with the youth, and this vessel that likes to be with the older would always look at them like, that doesn't make sense because we're always going to get older. No one gets younger. That's the fact of life. Every single breath, the body is getting older. Doesn't matter what it looks like as it gets older. If y'all got to go to the gym and work out and tone up, that's because the body's getting older. It's not because it's getting younger. The fact that y'all need to do that work is because the body is getting older. And if anyone is scared to get older, then they should just not be on this earth, period, because everything's getting older. So it should be natural to be attracted to things getting older because everything in life gets older. Nothing gets younger. So with this vessel catching some people watching certain adult movies growing up, this vessel was always like, what's the fascination? Now, of course, it wasn't pointing at those people, but it was just pointing at, wow, this system really got people stuck on this fountain of youth thing and trying to stay looking young when it's just facts that we all get older. Let's talk about R. Kelly. Y'all mad at R. Kelly peeing on somebody. There's actors and actresses that get paid in X movies to do that. So that shows y'all it's a fetish. So why would that person go to jail, but then it's legal for two adults to do that? And what I mean is legal for two adults. They say it's an adult, but one of them is old and one looks 18. Anyone can tell y'all on the screen that someone is 18. How many of y'all are checking those actors and actresses' ID? y'all couldn't even have access to it. And of course, they can come on the screen and say, "Yeah, I was 18 when I did that." Y'all, it's too easy. It's too easy. It's like when a lot of so-called positions of authority get arrested. Y'all, if y'all believe it, try to go to the precincts and see if they're there. And then y'all not there 24 hours a day to see how they're really being treated. Make sure to believe that pedophiles can be in any position. So this is not attacking anybody, but this is just saying, come on, y'all, leave these children alone. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. Let these children finally have a life. Just because y'all didn't have one, don't snuff out the life that they've been given. They don't have to go through what any of us go through in order to live life. That's not the struggles of life, that's the lie of life. So much for y'all little churchgoers. Y'all telling them the sins first. You think people don't recognize the devil's dominion. That's the devil's dominion. Y'all so graphic about the sin, but you're not clear on the remedy. What y'all should be chasing down is the people that make laws. But unfortunately, y'all vote for them. Y'all scared of them because y'all need their little tool they created when they made slavery and colonization. That tool called money. That's the sad part. Maybe there's something different because this vessel coming from a colonized, created, labeled richer area. Money doesn't impress this vessel. This vessel knows money's easy to get. Just got to do certain acts. Most of them are all going to be confusing and destructive, but no. Children, run. And if your parents is funny and their hands is in certain places too long, run. 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 So here's how shameful and foolish things of this earth shows that God's power will work. The military for the devil will have a mix of people. The military for God would have a mix of people. What does that mean? Because we all are going to be afflicted by something, aka that's what sin is. Sin means somebody did an act on y'all. Doesn't mean y'all sinning, but the act of sin was done on y'all. So everybody's going to be coming from something to something. So some people are going to be coming from that violation to go follow the devil and confusion and destruction. Some people are going to be coming from that violation and try to clean themselves and go with the Lord. If the devil's people can keep reminding y'all of the sin that was done to y'all and make y'all believe it's sin, then y'all will never come unto the Lord. I.e., that's what the slaughter means in all these spiritual books. See, the demonic people control the system around the planet. In every school system, there is a test, an IQ test, or something that only states, are you going to follow the system? Are you interested in what the system is saying? Or you're not. And if you're not interested in what the system is saying, they got labels for you. ADHD, too hyper, too slow, stupid. They got a whole bunch of labels for y'all, which starts the violation. And that violation is going to lead y'all to some kind of mental problem or something growing up. And then if that doesn't work, then y'all hear the classic story where y'all get raped by a teacher, a priest, a minister, a parent who already went through that as well. And what the system is very smart at is it makes sure it makes a place where the effects of those violations can be lived. So then that way, y'all never get out of the violations. Y'all start to think it's normal. All they have to do after that to cover themselves is just make laws that give y'all more liberty to do those effects, then shut them down. Why is this video so long? Because this is the last message for this vessel. This vessel is finished. Those who are going to come to classes in the colonized land, labeled Houston, Texas, where this vessel is just giving information from being one of the most versatile dancers on the planet. And praise the Lord for giving a gift. But does this vessel care if y'all come or not? This vessel is just doing the mission. This vessel traveled the planet off of just a gift. Y'all should be coming to learn. If y'all don't come, this vessel already is mentoring certain people out here. So this vessel's great with mentoring just those few people, because why? Those few people also are believers, and that's the most important. See, this message is for believers and parents who really say they love the children. Cut the BS. The system that's going on right now around the planet is the same system that killed Jesus, same system that killed most of the prophets. It's the same system. Killed most of the disciples. So y'all have to stop. Start telling the truth. No, children, y'all should never vote. Why would y'all vote for the same system of people that are the descendants of people that killed the spiritual people and scientific people that y'all say to follow, that are so good? The Bible is supposed to be read where the truth is. Y'all follow the truth. Y'all should not be following the disciples. The disciples did some recordings of what Jesus said. So the truth in that Bible is Jesus. But the highest level of faith in there is Jesus' faith. So when Jesus said, follow me, he did not say follow the disciples. So y'all have confusing writing like Paul, who, of course, let's go into Paul's history, was a murderer that knew he was a murderer, not one of those people that were confused because he was a Pharisee, he was an educator, that purposely killed people who were quote unquote believers as Saul, and then he became Paul, he was converted. He automatically is going to have guilt for the past. So y'all sitting here from Paul's writing out of guilt, who was telling you a confusion. Listen to the confusion of Paul. Paul is saying, follow the principalities and all that stuff and all that, right? But then Paul also is going up against them. But Jesus is going against them. If you follow the physical vessel, just like the teenagers, Shagman reached out years ago, he went into the fire. Confidence. You have to do what it is that the mission says to do, and don't even look back on it, and God will handle it. When y'all have a child that, if it was abused, and it goes through these systematic buildings that are made for violated children to become adults that can live the effects of the violation in these buildings, parents, y'all have to get stronger. Go to these buildings with them. Go to these parties with them. Go in groups if y'all don't feel strong enough. Because a lot of y'all parents might be molesting and raping these children. Y'all have issues as well. Go in groups. We all have strong friends or family members that we know nothing can change them around. And they're warriors about it. Bring those people with you so that y'all can really watch y'all children and how they grow. Jesus walked with people in different places. We're not just been sitting there, go up in the building for hours, sing, pray, and say goodbye. No, we're supposed to be walking with people, protecting each other. We're supposed to be watching each other all the time. Get out of this illusion of love of self, finding self. Once y'all say y'all in the faith of love, that's already love of self. Now it's about the mission of loving one another. But the point of these shirts is because no one needs to be showing any sexual affection around children. Y'all pay for rent, mortgage, leases for forms of buildings, apartments, condos, brownstones, houses, so that y'all can do that in the bedroom. The system will keep putting out these movies where they're showing people holding hands and they have to kiss and they're having all these romantic sides. There isn't any need for that. Y'all have bars and clubs that do that as well, where children cannot go in because they have to be over 18. They should be, but we all know that people get into clubs early. But then a child who happens to get in, or a bouncer or a club owner that wants to probably have sex with a child and lets them in early into an over 18 place, unfortunately, children, that's what you're going to see. But no, the media is not going to stop all this. But we can stop all this. We can stop that. We, as people who are really human, don't have to be outside showing affection. Go to work and then come back and do all that. Close the door. That's what it's for. Yes, that's the reason why you pay all that rent that nature's not paying. If y'all not realizing it by this video, y'all better get into the new fellowship. The new fellowship is, even though it's an old message, Jesus with a prostitute, right? She didn't give services anymore. But yet, imagine in the time the physical Jesus was here, if the internet existed. The system that serves confusion and destruction could easily put an old video of her doing prostitution services, even if she stopped. See, that's the trick behind this internet. Since it's record things from the past, someone can easily come on here and say they changed life, and then the system can put an old video up, change the time codes at the bottom. It's very easy. Also, the thing is that if y'all don't have the time to research people, meaning to go meet them, don't believe anything that the system puts up. So we all have access to some kind of computers now. We can put up videos now. Can the system change them? Yes. It's that simple, y'all. So comprehend the new fellowship. The new fellowship can have what y'all taught to call gay, lesbian, transgender, drag queen, and all these other different categories of sexually afflicted children coming out of that and starting to praise the Lord, or praising truth, or praising love, and then walking with people who never did it, or who have other issues from the system and they've stopped that. Walking together for the one mission of full power love, productivity, nature, and faith. Be very careful, because if y'all truly believe in the thought of sin and all this stuff that everyone has a past, y'all should not even believe in it. Y'all should know it, because the system shows y'all sinful things first. If y'all really believe how you train a child is how they will be, and y'all are crazy enough to vote for these politicians that make laws that y'all children can see cartoons that blow up other characters and stab other characters and make them disappear and come back and do all this crazy stuff, steal stuff from them, and then they run and chase each other around. All these cartoons that show illegal activities. And then y'all get into the other movies and stuff. PG-13, PG, R, and then you go into action, and all this stuff is showing illegal activity. And then y'all have music that shows all this illegal activity. Is it a surprise? Children want to try some of it? Of course not. It's not a surprise. So how dare y'all call them sinners when y'all are voting for politicians that are making laws to legalize the seeing and hearing of sin? So of course, once y'all get out of that, because now they're playing God, John 12:43, y'all get out of that, who's going to be walking together in faith? It's going to, of course, be people with these systematic created paths. So that's why it's important to say, which God are you talking about? Because it seems to be that God y'all praising. So think about it, y'all. If y'all have all these militaries in life, you have the systems military that has these people in all these different uniforms, and y'all think it's just Green Beret uniforms, Marines, Air Force. No, it's people who work in education. They work in judicial, which is the courts. It's people who work in entertainment. It's people who work in medicinal. People who work in dogma, which I've also called religion, and politics, of course, because they make the laws. It's all over the place. So now let's think about this sentence. God gives us the desire of our hearts. What is the desire of your heart if y'all don't know your heart, because you're being taught by a system to do everything confusing and destructive? So here's the funniest thing. Majority of people that people praise any kind of spiritual military force, spiritual meaning y'all can call God Shango, Omana, Oshun, ancestors, Allah, God, you can call it Elohim, any name y'all want, Buddha. But the fact is, majority of y'all are praising those names for money, over some material thing that a system created. So how is it a blessing from God when y'all receive it? Just like a lot of y'all praise these names, or some of y'all can praise the devil if y'all want. Praise these names for being cured, listen to this closely, for being cured for poisons the system put in y'all. You have to be honest. Y'all don't know what's in flu shots. Y'all don't know what's in vaccination shots. Y'all don't know what's in tetanus shots. Y'all don't know what's in any of these shots that goes into these bodies. And then y'all don't know the reactions of these bodies. These are not your bodies, because if it was our bodies, we would be able to control the reactions to different things, right? We have to deal with it. So with that being said, if a science can put in things through laws politicians makes that we don't know what the reaction of the body is going to be, then y'all later go to a hospital because you have complications from those shots or from those foods or from what they put in those drinks. And then y'all think it's a blessing from God that they give y'all the right medication and saved y'all from cancer or from diabetes and all the stuff that they created. That's not God. That's them. Playing God. John 12:43. Come on, y'all. So when it says God will give you desires of your hearts, what is the desire? If it's not money or something material, or if it's not something to elongate, y'all think you're elongating life, but they actually made your life quote unquote shorter in order to give you a poison to numb the immune system to make it seem like they stretched out life. What else can God give y'all? Something to question to y'all, something for y'all to think about. If you're not coming from a rag to riches story, what's the desire? Because riches, if you already have riches, you already have cars, you already. If you're trying to say find the right wife, and she's also, or husband, and she or he's also systematically taught, y'all have to figure out what's right and wrong by a system's definition. Because for sure, God, all the names you have for God, all the names you have for the devil, or even all the names you have for nature, did not tell y'all this systematic teaching. Think about that next time y'all tell children that they're being blessed, or tell anyone they're being given a blessing, and all it is material that a system created. What would be a true blessing from God? Of course would be if y'all were given wings, being able to fly like Superman or something like that. Or God just dropping millions of dollars at the doorstep. Not through a lottery, which is through other people, not through some kind of systematic, way of a computer pressing a number. Because a lot of y'all are so crazy, y'all be like, well, God made that number come out. No. God, in those spiritual books, drop things out of nowhere. That's the word miraculous. We don't see that today. Only way y'all see that is nature, how we are breathing air and stuff. That's miraculous. But money, cars, and all that, no. That's not a blessing. That's a trick of the system. When God starts dropping a car out of the air and dropping millions of dollars in people's bank accounts with no conversation and no reason why, or gets the system to apologize for all they're doing, and we just start seeing millions of dollars in everyone's bank account, that would be the blessing. But getting it through coercing taxes and playing with people's hard-working money, that's a trick, not a blessing. These shirts are going to have every symbol on it. Let's go through it. Yeah. Let's look at each category of shirt that will be made. Y'all know the rainbow, the regular gay lesbian rainbow. Hey, they're already confident on it. So you see that one, the pitchfork, with the eyes and the rainbow. That represents those who love the devil. They love confusion and destruction. They want to sneak up on the children. That's the pedophile. The eyes is for the pedophile that like to be sneaky and try to, gather up children. And the pitchfork is just for the fact that y'all follow confusion and destruction. And that's the sexuality y'all into, pedophilia. Problem with this, watch this children. The only problem is like this, as I said, the pedophile is the problem. The pedophiles love to sneak up on people. But then sometimes they like to be right in your face. So this vessel is pretty much throwing this out for the ones that like to be in your face. Let them wear these shirts proudly. Hey, be confident on it. Come on, y'all. This is internet now. Everything's out there now. Be confident on it. Next one. So then we have the beard, and we have the mature looking woman, and we have the other rainbow, because that shows people, and we have the wings, people who were into a bisexual lifestyle, and now they've left it and went to God. That's what the wings are for. Come on, y'all. That's the t-shirt this vessel is wearing. We're making these t-shirts now. Yeah, stand confident on it. Stand confident. And then we have the chains and the leather and all that. This one shows sadism, masochism, bondage, domination. Then we have the straight rainbow. Everybody go buy these shirts, not because anybody needs the money. Instead of lying to these children, give them a chance. At least now these shirts show them that. Look, this is what y'all about to run into, and y'all children can make a choice. Y'all can make a choice if y'all want to keep talking or run. So buy these shirts, y'all, from Olaf Shirts. These are well thought out shirts, and since nobody's ever done it, that's it. These well thought out shirts. Come on, y'all. Wear these shirts proudly.